What is up, everybody? This is your boy AJTRIP, and welcome to the game according to me. Uh, we missed last week's podcast because of some um, other family issues I had to take care of, but we are back this week with a new podcast, checking out what went down this past weekend in the college game and the pro game. Major League Baseball playoffs have started, and the NBA basketball is doing their media days, and this coming up going to start shortly as well. All good time to be a sports fan. So let's go ahead. Let's start as we always do with the college game. So let's start on Friday. Had some good action Friday. Florida State got upset by Virginia, 46-38 in overtime. Boy, the crowd stormed the field. Kind of a dangerous situation there, but good thing nobody was hurt, nobody was trampled. But Virginia upset Florida State 46-38. And in Arizona State, Blue Devils, Red Devils, whatever they are, Sun Devils. The Blue Devils are Duke. Sun Devils, they took down TCU 27-24. On to Saturday's action, after coming off of that loss, that massive loss to Indiana, Illinois beat USC 34-32. Notre Dame, once again, done starting the streak. Doing like last year, blowing out teams like crazy. This time they took care of Arkansas, 56-13. Georgia Tech takes down Wake Forest, 30-29. Utah State went into Vanderbilt, scored 35 points, still could not get the victory, as Vanderbilt scored 55. Vanderbilt ranked 16 this season. Interesting thing. We'll see what Vanderbilt got a tough test this week, I believe. Texas A&M beat Auburn 16-10. Ohio State took care of Washington 24-6. Ole Miss beat LSU 24-19. Indiana took down Iowa 20-15. Tennessee took down Mississippi State 41-34. Iowa State took on Arizona, beat them 39-14. Oregon, in overtime, beat Penn State 30-24. Once again, the Penn State Nittany Lions can't beat a highly ranked team, seemingly under James Franklin. Missouri took down UMass 42-6. Alabama beat Georgia 24-21. And BYU took on Colorado, beat them 24-21. Prime is having some troubles in Colorado. And let's see. I'm kind of wondering, like, what does he need to do, because he's using the transfer portal a lot. But I kind of think he should maybe start trying to do some more recruiting, because I don't know why you wouldn't want to go play for Prime. I understand it's Colorado and it's a little colder there and everything like that, but you got Prime there, you got Warren Sapp there, you got a whole bunch of people there. I don't know why they can't get the talent there, So I want to see Prime succeed, but it's not happening right now. Maybe he needs another year before everything else starts clicking for him. Now look ahead to this week 6. Let's start on Friday. Very good game. West Virginia takes on BYU. West Virginia is they're looking to take on the Big 12. I think the same thing with BYU. They're looking for an edge and advantage. So far, because Iowa State is on the come up. And speaking of Iowa State, Saturday's action starts. Iowa State is at Cincinnati. Big road game. Can Rocco Beck and the boys go into Cincinnati and take down the Bearcats? Illinois is at Purdue. That's a good one for Illinois. After having that comeback game against USC, they have to beat this one. This cannot be a trap game. Go in there and take care of Purdue. Kentucky is at Georgia. Wisconsin is at Michigan. Virginia is at Louisville. Coming up with a big time upset of Penn State. when they go into Louisville and do it again. Texas is at Florida. This is gonna be a big time for Arch Manning. You know, he needs to start showing that he is worth the hype. This is what I was talking about. Vanderbilt at Alabama last year. Vanderbilt beat Alabama. That was one of the losses Alabama had on their resume, costing them the opportunity to go into the the college football playoff. They need to take care of Vanderbilt this year at home. Can they do that? Well, you can see this is a game your eyes will be on everywhere. Boise State at Notre Dame. Boise State wants to try to be one of the, to be one of that group of 5 to get into the run, but I don't know if they can. They lost earlier to South Florida, and I think the Notre Dame team somehow, this is something that Marcus Freeman has. They seem to get behind, and then they, behind the 8 ball, and Marcus Freeman kicks their ass, and then they get into high gear. And I would expect another big game from Notre Dame here. For those like to bet, I would say take Notre Dame and the points. Penn State is flying out there to North Carolina, California to take on UCLA. Oklahoma hosts Kent State. Why is Oklahoma still playing these tomato cans? I don't know about this. Well, the team that's not a tomato can, Texas Tech. They're going to Houston. Texas Tech is a big surprise this year. Can they shock the world and get into the Big 12 and then get into the college football playoff? Hopefully they can. Texas A&M is hosting Mississippi State. Ohio State is hosting Minnesota and the Fighting PJ Flex. And the game of the week for the Seminole Trophy or whatever they play for. Miami of Florida on the road to take on Florida State. Can Florida State bounce back off of that upset loss to Virginia, or can Miami keep it rolling and have them take out one of their biggest rivals in college football? That's going to be something to see. Good game Saturday night, and very good games on the schedule as well. And so this is going to be a good weekend for college football. How about the NFL? Well, let's go ahead and find out if that is the case as well. So let's go back to last Thursday. Very competitive game between the Seahawks and Cardinals on Amazon Prime. Seahawks got the victory, last second field goal, 23-20 over the Cardinals. Early Sunday morning, over in Dublin, the Vikings took on the Steelers. Carson Wentz played okay, but just not good enough. The Steelers they made all the big plays, and then they won 24-21. Commanders lost to the Falcons. Once again, Daniel did not play. 34-27, Falcons over the Commanders. The Giants, starting rookie Jackson Dart, took out the undefeated LA Chargers, and this is what people are talking about sometimes with these Chargers, and sometimes talking about with Justin Herbert. They're gonna be serious. They can't be losing to the Giants. Giants get the first victory, 21-18. The Texans shut out the Titans, 28-6, and Cam Ward had a message for everybody, telling the truth. Said if we keep it 100, they ass, and right now that's what they probably are. They probably are ass, but hopefully when they get to the thing, they won't be ass, or if they are ass, they will be some type of ass. I don't know, but it had Teddy Bruschi and Damian Woody cracking up on Monday's Get Up, because of how he said it and everything like that. So it's a very, very funny quote. It's something that will be used on my channel and maybe on this podcast in the future. The Bills beat the Saints 31-19. Kind of interesting. Kind of thought maybe the Bills would check it out, but that is a team, and they're playing hard. They just don't have the quarterback right now. They're playing Spencer Rattler, even though they drafted Tyler Shuck. So we'll see what happens with the Saints. The Lions beat the Browns 34-10. Because of this beatdown, the Browns decided to go with Dylan Gabriel this week, and they're over in good old jolly London, England. They're taking on the Vikings, and we'll see if they can get up to 3 consecutive NFC North teams. They play the Bears later on in the season, but we'll let's see what the Browns, if Dylan Gabriel give the Browns a little hope. The Jaguars took on the 49ers and beat them 26-21. You know, Brock Purdy is dealing with a toe injury, and so I think there's a lot of things going on there. But you know, listen, you signed a $56 million contract, I believe, and then per year in the off season. It's one of those things where don't tell me how rocky the ships are. Rock the boat. And I think maybe it's time for Brock Purdy and the guys to kind of out there 49ers land to dock the boat. The Rams beat the Colts 27-20 because the Colts have an idiot receiver named Adonai Mitchell. And not only did he drop the ball celebrating, going into the end zone, and having to go out of the end zone for a touchback, Rams ball, but on a play that Jonathan Taylor ran for a touchdown, he was called a holding penalty. You can truly say, and they'll never say it, and us fans, we shouldn't say it either, but it is kind of true that you can really say that he was the reason why the Indianapolis Colts did not win that game against the Los Angeles Rams. The Chicago Bears blocked the field goal at the end of the game to beat the Raiders 25-24. And Caleb Williams is starting to progress, still doing his thing. Ashton Jeanty got on track for the Raiders. A long run for a touchdown. Maybe that would help the Raiders get their running game back. And also Geno Smith, boy, he had 3 interceptions. 3 bad interceptions. So we'll see what Geno does. The Chiefs beat the Ravens 37-20 in this game. Lamar Jackson went out with a hamstring injury. And even before that, the Chiefs were dominating the Ravens. This is the Ravens defense of a few years ago that drove them to the AFC Championship game to face these Chiefs. Not sure what is happening, not sure what's going on, but whatever is happening is the Chiefs are behind the 8 ball. It's a good thing for the Ravens. The good thing for the Ravens, Joe Burrow being hurt from Cincinnati, and the Browns being the Browns. And the Steelers could, they could be trashed at any minute. So the Ravens are not out of it just yet, even though they fallen to 1-3. They're not out of it just yet. Sunday night we had the second highest scoring tie in the history of the NFL, as the Packers and the Cowboys like I said, tied 40-40. I have no idea what was going on at the end of that game, where the Packers was not in a hurry, and they almost didn't get the time out to make so that they could make the field goal. Because the Cowboys weren't. It was very interesting. Listen, this is what's gonna happen when you have these games, and you have offenses like the Packers and the Cowboys. Cowboys drove down the field, kicked the field goal. Packers took it down, but they took the ball down the field, kicked the field goal, left up the entire 10-minute game. 10-minute overtime period. People are saying ties should not be in it. First of all, I have no problem with ties. I really don't. But if you don't want ties, then I say you gotta go back to the old rule, the original rules, where it's sudden death. I don't care if the Cowboys drove down the field and kicked the field goal. Play some fucking defense. And the Packers have not played defense since they lost to the Browns. Let's be very honest. And Michael Parsons come back, the Cowboys was with a tie. But play some defense. If you don't want ties, then bring back sudden death. Or just play another game, just like you do at the just like you do with the NBA and everything like that. Play another period. There's 5-minute quarters, so do that. You're getting done at 10. Play a 10-minute quarter, and if you if it's still tied, then go to a second overtime. But I'm okay with ties. On Monday Night Football, the Dolphins beat the Jets 27-21. But the big thing to come from this game is Tyreek Hill. I was watching wrestling, but I had several TVs. I had several TVs. I got a couple TVs, and then I had the game up on the computer, the Miami Dolphins game, and I looked over and everyone was crowded around the field. I was wondering what was going on, and looked on Twitter and there, oh boy, there's this. It was not good. A dislocated knee, tore every ligament in his knee. And sometimes when you get that type of dislocation, if you don't get it in a hurry, it could mean you could lose that leg. Um, but I guess that wasn't as severe as it wasn't that severe to where they would have to operate immediately to take the leg. But Tyreek Hill it's you gotta know if this is like his career. If this is his career is on the line. All right, let's continue on. And the second game was the Broncos beating the Bengals 28-3. Jake Browning played well. A couple years ago when we replaced the injured Joe Burrow. Then he played so well that he got T. Higgins paid. But maybe he's not good doing it now. So there's a lot of talk about maybe should they try and look for another quarterback if Jake Browning is still going to be this bad? Can they try to trade for Kirk Cousins? Even someone say trade for Jameis Winston. I don't know about all of that now, but we'll have to wait and see. But the Broncos beat up on the Bengals big, 28-3. Going now, looking ahead to Week 5, tomorrow's Thursday night action is the 49ers at the Rams. That should be a very interesting game. Again, let's see if Brock Purdy can get back on track. How good are the Rams? They're going to keep it continue themselves. Again, over in London, the Vikings are taking on the Browns. So the Vikings have to go from Ireland to London. But the Vikings should get the victory here. That you mentioned earlier, Dylan Gabriel will now be the quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. Joe Flacco is the number 2, and Shadir Sanders is the number 3. A lot of people are wondering what's going on with Shadir Anderson. Will he get a shot? I'm not sure. I'll be honest with you, I'm not sure he may deserve it. I think when the stuff that I see from him and hear from him, he has definitely one of those complexes where he thinks he's owed it because he's Shadir Sanders and he's Deion's son, and he doesn't get owed anything. He's not owed to be drafted early. He's not owed to be the starter, the number 2. So you heard the story about he didn't want to go to Baltimore, and because he wanted an opportunity to try to learn. When he went to Baltimore, learn from Lamar Jackson and the people there, and could have got some really interesting. So it's just ridiculous. Yeah. The Cowboys are going to the Jets. We see the Cowboys can come off the tie and maybe get a win. The Jets are 0-4. They're just not good, and I think Jets fans are now finding out that Justin Fields just isn't a guy. He's a running back. The best play Justin Fields made when Monday Night Football was running the football. And when you're a quarterback and the best thing you do is run the football, you're not a quarterback. Sorry, let's get over that. The Giants are at the Saints. See if Justin Dirk can get a 2-game win streak here, and see if the Saints can finally get the tail on the board and just see beat the Giants. The Raiders are at the Colts. Geno Smith, like I said earlier, 3 interceptions. He needs to make a play. They see the coach can come back and play some good football, and hopefully the wide receiver Mitchell can redeem himself some way. Dolphins are at the Panthers. No Tyreek Hill. We just talked about that. And going into Carolina, I'm thinking Carolina gets a good shot here to beat the Dolphins. The Broncos at the Eagles. Eagles, this may be the game of the entire weekend on the NFL schedule. Broncos D taking on that Eagles offense. AJ Brown's tweeting a whole bunch of stuff. Maybe he's not happy with what's going on, but listen, that's what they decided. They decided to be a primarily run-first football team, and they have Jalen Hurts, who, for some, it's a weird dichotomy with Jalen Hurts because he is, you know, he's taking the Eagles to 2 Super Bowls. He's won one of them. He's a Super Bowl MVP of the one he won. He's played very well in both Super Bowls. He's played very well throughout his time, but there are a lot of people who look at Jalen Hurts. You can say that, and people said this about Brock Purdy too. But people look at Jalen Hurts and just say he's just a guy. And I don't think he's just that, but sometimes they play like he's just a guy. So that's very interesting. We'll see what happens with both these teams. The Texans are at the Ravens. Again, they have not said anything. I've heard anything about Lamar Jackson, but it's a hamstring injury. I would think Lamar Jackson would not play in this one. And the Texans have to, they need to get their offense back on track. And they need to get their offense back on track with a Ravens defense that doesn't seem to be defending very much. The Titans are at the Cardinals. Are the Titans going to continue being ass, or would they upset the Cardinals at home? And there's some stuff going on in Arizona too. The Cardinals are, they need to get themselves out of the thing. Although who never knows, we're a month away from Call of Duty coming out, so Kyler Murray may be ready for that instead of football. Okay, breaking news. Just looked over at my television. Breaking news: Brock Purdy will be out for the Thursday game because of that turf toe. He probably came back too early, so that's unfortunate for him. Mac Jones will most likely definitely get the start on the Thursday night game against the Los Angeles Rams. Okay, continuing on, we've got the Buccaneers and the Seahawks. Cross-country fight for the Buccaneers, and as they go from over to Seattle. But Seattle's playing well. Buccaneers lost first. They need to try to get back on track after losing that for their first game to the Eagles. And Seahawks are just keep it rolling and keep it rolling. Let's see what happens with them. The Lions are at the Bengals. This should be another big time, victory for the Lions. Put some points up on the board on those Bengals and that Bengals defense, and try to keep the Bengals offense in check. And will we see some frustration from Jamar Chase like we saw on Monday night? The Commanders are at the Chargers. I don't know what's going to happen. If Jane Daniels plays or not, I'm not sure. But this is a Chargers team that just lost to the Giants. They could be ripe for the picking here, and if Jane Daniels does play, that could easily be a very intriguing game coming up on in the 325 window. Sunday Night Football, it's the Patriots at the Bills. Can Drake May and the Patriots step up and take it to the Buffalo Bills, or would the Bills just absolutely destroy them at Highmark Stadium? We will see. And Monday Night Football, the Chiefs at the Jaguars. Chiefs just winning their game, becoming 2-2. Jaguars are 3-1. Coming off a surprising victory over the 49ers, where Liam Cohen got into the face of Robert Saleh, and Robert Saleh did some things was talking about ending him. So we'll have to wait and see what that happens. But it'll be an interesting game for the Chiefs. Need to get back on track. They finally got some of their explosive plays. This is a worthy comeback, so we'll see what happens with them. Alright guys, that is going to be it for this episode of the Game According to Me. Not the Word According to Me, the Game According to Me. So yeah, make sure that you check the description box, you do all those things, and yeah, do those things. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. You know, in doing this, it's a minuscule of a second. But in real life, I'm doing this ending like 6-7 hours later than I was, did the other part, because Audacity fucked up. So I don't even know if you're hearing this. I don't even know if you can hear this. But if you are, I appreciate you guys listening to everything from me. I really do. Make sure that you just follow, go into the box, you follow everything. You want to support me, patreon.com/AJTRIP, become a patron, and other ways to do it as well. So make sure you check those puppies out. Alright? Alright, thank you guys so much for listening. This is your boy, AJTRIP, signing off. As always, be good to each other, y'all. Be careful out there. And I am out.